Yes, Rod, the regular season road ends tonight in Vancouver, game 81, with the home playoff game still at stake for the Stampeders as they tackle the Lions at BC Place Stadium.
The outstanding player nominees are out. For these two teams, it isn't the quarterbacks, it's Brian Burnham, second in the CFL with 1,401 receiving yards. He's had an absolutely outstanding season, as has Reggie Begelton for the Calgary Stampeders, number 3 in the Canadian Football League. So you've got 2 and 3 in the game tonight, both MOP nominees.
Well, you know the story. Dave Dickinson Stampeders need a win or a tie to earn a home date for the Western Semi against the Bombers. Otherwise, they'll be in Winnipeg for the Western Semi-Final next week. Devon Claybrook's Lions 4-4 in the second half, but still looking for their first victory of the year against a Western Division opponent. They come off the bye for this regular season finale. Lions won the toss. They'll get the football first. You see Brandon Rutley and Jamel Lyles back to receive the kickoff.
Well, you heard the panel talk about it. Calgary needs this game. They want to have that semifinal at home against Winnipeg. They need to win to get it. And for the BC Lions, coming off a bye, a dangerous game for Calgary. They could add some trick plays. They can cut it loose. Really nothing to lose here.
So here we go. And it will be Rutley from the Lion 12-yard line. Jukes his way across the 25. Danny O'Brien will lead the BC Lion offense onto the field.
One start for Danny O'Brien against Saskatchewan a couple weeks ago. Did not get the win.
171 yards passing in that game. And without Mike Riley, 1 touchdown for the BC offense on 23 possessions. So they start at the 27 and they hand it off to John White. An important game for White as he looks for his first ever 1,000-yard season. Comes in 40 away.
Yeah, he'd be the 5th player to get there. There's Brian Burnham, the MOP candidate, and what an outstanding season. It's been a highlight reel season for Brian Burnham. More on that as this game goes on. Up front, couple of changes. Their outstanding lineman nominee is Joel Figueroa. He is out, so David Neville will play that left tackle spot.
1 for John White, so 2nd and 9. Here comes pressure. O'Brien gets it away. Deron Carter can't make the catch. What he should have had, and it's a 2-and-out to start.
Yeah, it really is one he shouldn't have, because when you send pressure like that, you can't block them all. There's pressure coming from the outside. Danny O'Brien's got to get rid of the ball. He doesn't have protection over there. So he goes to his hot route, which is the out to Deron Carter, who's had a tough year. Number 89, underachieved big time this season.
So Bartel to punt it away, and Terry Williams is back. Fields this at the 41-yard line. And Terry Williams shakes a tackle. Good return across midfield, and Bo Levi Mitchell will go to work in BC territory with his first series here tonight.
Well, Bo Levi Mitchell has been on his game since returning from injury. I mean, we're talking over 300 yards passing per game on average. It's getting up there past the 350 mark. I mean, the guy has been absolutely on. His 2 best since returning were actually losses. One almost 500 yards passing, the other at 350 against Winnipeg.
356 average in his last 6. 9 touchdown passes in his last 3 starts.
Absolutely on his game. And that's with a revolving receiving core at times.
Well, they start at the Lion 52-yard line. Officials finally blowing play in. Josh Huff in motion. He'll hand it off to Don Jackson straight ahead. Good burst from Jackson on his first carry of the game. Close to a first down.
No Eric Rogers tonight for the Calgary Stampeders in the receiving corps, so Aaron Peck will play for him. There's the MOP candidate, Reggie Begelton. What a season for Begelton. Third in the CFL. And up front, Calgary Williams bumps out to tackle. Justin Lawrence will play center for him. Shane Bergman is their outstanding lineman nominee.
7-year man. Short yardage situation, and Jackson will leap across the line of scrimmage and has a first down. Set the Lion defense for you. They're number 2 against the pass in the CFL this year.
Yeah, improved in that area. Sean Lemon has helped out since his arrival. He's got 9 sacks on the season. Dale Willis and Jonathan Newsom's back. 2 weeks ago, he missed the game against Saskatchewan. So through the bye week, he got back in the lineup. Odell over 100 sacks career. Their leading tackle is Malik Harris, the former Calgary Stampeder in the middle. And TJ Lee got the nominee for outstanding defensive player.
Here's Mitchell, is going to air it out. He's got Begelton, and Begelton can't make the catch in the end zone. Reggie Begelton had a step on Creston Butler.
And that's right where Mitchell had to put the ball. He had to put it out in front of him and let him try and track it down because the trailer was on the top shoulder. That was Creston Butler trying to close. So Bo Levi Mitchell throws it out in front of Begelton, so he has to go and get it. Just can't survive contact with the turf. He had it going down. Just popped out when he hit the turf.
Begelton talked about a preseason goal of his to get to 1,500 yards. Needs 116 in this final game. Maybe a free play here, and they pass on the money to Aaron Peck.
Wow.
Lions were offside, it appears, and that catch for Peck will likely stand.
That wasn't an example.
Offside, BC. That penalty be declined. First down.
That was an example of what we're talking about when we talk about Bo Levi Mitchell being on his game. That type of accuracy, timing, and confidence in the throw. And this is an MOP, former MOP, and Grey Cup champion. And I'm not sure I've seen him play any better than the last few games.
9th consecutive game, missed 7. Came out of the game against BC back in late June. Off target there to Josh Huff. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Let's go back and take one more look at that throw over the middle. That's not Eric Rogers, who has great chemistry with either. That was Aaron Peck, who's in for Rogers. Just take a look at him step up and with confidence throw that inside route just as he opens up past the linebackers. See if he can convert here on 2nd and long.
Peck a big target, 6'3", 249 in his 2nd start of the year. 2nd and 10. And that one batted down, and it'll be tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete, and the field goal unit has to come on. Like Guzlak Messam got a hand on the football. His 3rd knockdown of this 2019 campaign.
You know, the Lions are 4-4 in their last 8. They made some changes, brought in Sean Lemon on defense, Jonathan Newsom as well, and they moved Isaiah Messam down to the linebacking core. I think since that, you know, those 3 moves in particular, they have been better on defense.
Oh, here's Paredes, who missed one last week, and a convert. And Dave Dickinson said the kicking game's got to be better. It's on target here. And the Stampeders have opened the scoring here, but limited to 3 because of this nice bat down by Isaiah Guzlak Messam. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, ranked number 1 in quality by J.D. Power. So the rematch, these two teams met back on June 29th. It was one of the wildest games of the year. Stampeders scored 23 fourth quarter points, 15 in the last 85 seconds, with Nick Arbuckle in relief of Bo Levi Mitchell to pull out the 36-32 win. And I think some Lion fans and some in the organization wonder if they had held on to that sizable lead in Calgary early in the season, if this might have unfolded a little differently for them.
Yeah, they got that 1-point win against Toronto, but then it was the 7-game losing streak, and that was against, you know, very good teams. Two games against Hamilton, 2 games against Saskatchewan in that losing streak for BC, and that's where it really came apart.
3 for White, 2nd and 7. Short drop going through the reads, and underneath it goes to White. He's going to come up about a yard short, and a decision here for Devon Claybrooks.
All kinds of changes in the Calgary lineup, some of them last minute, certainly in their secondary, but no Cordero Law up front again. It's a couple of games now he's missed for the Calgary Stampeders.
Just seems like we might have seen a different lineup for Calgary had the Saskatchewan Roughriders been beaten earlier today. 3rd down, no, I'm not sure O'Brien got there.
I don't think so.
Had to get to the stripe, and it looks like he's been turned back. BC 22 of 23 on 3rd down gambles, but Nate Hawley thinks Calgary's made the stop.
2 nominees for Hawley, and he was right in the middle of it. Rookie of the Year nominee, Special Teams nominee, Nate Hawley. Calgary Stampeders stepping up there.
Now they're going to measure, but since the ball started at the 35 and means it has to go to the 45, the only significance of the measurement here might be whether or not the yards are accurate on the field.
Turned him away.
It is a turnover on downs, and Calgary will take over, and for the 2nd straight possession, they'll start on the BC side of the field. For first for Dave Dickinson, but still significant with more on the implications. Here's Farhan.
Yeah, very different situation for Dickinson and his team right now, with not an opportunity to play for first place, and we're used to seeing that, and we're used to seeing them in week 21 with nothing to play for. He was quick to remind us that a year ago they did have to win the final game to get first place and get home field. He's still trying to figure this team out. He says at some point 80% of our roster has been different from what it was a year ago. He says, I do like our resiliency, though, because of the number of close games they've been involved in. 13 of 17 have been decided by 7 points or less. He says, going into the playoffs, though, our special teams must get better. The kicking game, the coverage game, all of it. One thing he's excited about, though, he says Bo Levi Mitchell right now is playing as well as he's ever played.
Yeah, looking for some momentum to go into that game against Winnipeg, wherever it is. A fumble there, but Nila Kazatani got back on it for Calgary, and Rough Riders took care of business, but they got us scared, didn't they? Edmonton was tough today.
Yeah, congratulations to the Riders. Lock up first place in the West. So Calgary hosts the semifinal if they win this game against BC. If not, Winnipeg gets the semifinal, and Calgary will be on the road.
2nd and 11. Mitchell steps up. He throws. Begelton's got it. A catch and a first down for Reggie Begelton down around the 20-yard line.
Put a lot of heat on it, too, so that Begelton can protect himself coming across the middle. He steps up and negotiates the pocket well, as he often does, trying to just find that extra second. And again, in tight coverage, Begelton working open over the middle for his quarterback.
27-yard connection. Begelton over 1,400 yards now. And Mitchell throws to the corner, and it's batted away, intended for Josh Huff.
Josh Huff has come on now. I would say, though, he still has to keep running his route. Mitchell, the way he's playing, will put it there. Because it looked like he came out of his route, kind of hesitated out of the break, and then had to continue on. And by then, TJ Lee had closed in there and was there to tip it away.
So 2nd and 10. Sean Lemon to the sidelines. Jonathan Newsom's checked in that BC Lion defense. 3-man front. Sindani on the waggle. And the pass from Ayala picked off. TJ Lee has the interception down at the BC 1. 4th interception of the year. They have come in the last 5 games for the defensive nominee for the BC Lions. And their senior man on defense, TJ Lee. 11th interception thrown by Mitchell as TJ Lee takes it away from Hergy Miliala.
I feel like burning up the afternoon. It's a summertime weekend.
Penticton Bo Levi Mitchell's playing so well. Watch TJ Lee say, okay, if you're going to play that well and that confidently and you're going to throw this in route, even though the guy is covered, I'm going to sit on it. He doesn't even play the receiver any longer. He sits on the route, opens his hips, and says, I'm going to cut underneath and play the ball completely. If Maella runs a post or a straight route there, a straight seam route, he's beaten badly, but he played to the confidence of Bo Levi Mitchell and took it.
First red zone interception thrown by Mitchell this year. And from there to the Lions start out, and John White gives them a little breathing room.
Shout out everybody on the team, the coaches. Hey, mama, told you I was going to get one. Let's go. Mike.
So Deshaun Downey will play for Cordero Law up front at defensive end. I mentioned Nate Hawley, nominee for 2 awards this year, special teams and rookie, and all kinds of changes in the secondary. Trey Roberson, late scratch. Raheem Wilson moves to halfback. Courtney Stephen playing for Royce Mechie. Brandon Smith in his very last regular season game in the CFL.
Danny O'Brien can't find anybody. And now to the sideline for John White, who has the catch and should have the first down. White had 9 catches in that first meeting against the Stampeders, 87 yards, and combined for 151 yards from scrimmage back in late June.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see John White get to that 1,000-yard mark. He needs, as you mentioned, 40 yards coming in, Chris, and I know he's chipped away with a couple so far.
Got 10, so he's 30 away, but you think about the Achilles injury, the knee injuries. He's battled some adversity to get to this point. First down, and the hitch is incomplete. Trying to connect to Shaq Johnson. Be 2nd and 10.
Breakout season for Shaq Johnson, 37 catches, just shy of 600 yards receiving. Been a big play receiver for him, and I think the future is bright for him and a couple of Canadian receivers in this game, and some that aren't, but both these teams have good Canadian receivers in the core.
And Johnson in. Javon Coutoy, the rookie nominee for the BC Lions, is not in the lineup for this game. 2nd and 10. Draw White. Got some blocking, but Lorenzo Jerome stepped up from his corner spot, and he makes the tackle and forces the punt team to come on for BC.
Yeah, Lorenzo Jerome playing for Roberson, but he is normally that tweener linebacker. He's played for Jamar Wall when Wall was out of the lineup, so Jerome comes up. He knows how to tackle now.
So Calgary should get good field position again. They've started at the BC 52 and 45. And they're going to give up 2 here and try and change the field position advantage that Calgary's had. Bartel takes the knee. And the Stampeders lead by 5. Outstanding player nominee for the Stampeders, Reggie Bagleton, who seems to be getting better by the week.
Well, both receivers, Britt Bagleton and Brian Burnham, big seasons, but Bagleton, yeah, he's most consistent receiver. Made some spectacular plays as well, but start to finish. And when we started the season, CC, did you think that teams with Bo Levi Mitchell and Mike Riley on them would have 2 receivers as nominees for MOPs? But just the way it worked with Mitchell missing 7 games, Mike Riley taking a beating this year in the play of Brian Burnham. So Calgary and BC, they're representative in the outstanding player category is going to be receiver.
Bagleton with 853 receiving yards in his last 8, and an outside chance of catching Brandon Banks here to win the receiving title.
So who do you like? I mean, coming out of the West, and Cody Fajardo, we could have put a third head there, and you know, you take a look at Willie Jefferson defensively. That's a tougher one, I would think, but there's a comparison in the numbers. Now, a couple that Brian Burnham has the edge is second down conversion catches. He leads the league in that category. He also has 14 30-plus, which is double of Begelton's. So you talk about two spectacular pass catchers.
Burnham with 37 second down conversion catches. Begelton had 30. Got Fraser Sopik shaken up here, so it gives us a little more time to talk about these great receivers.
You know, and you also have to put in that the Calgary Stampeders into the thought process, you know, that the Calgary Stampeders have a better record. They're a better team. They're in the playoffs.
I think Brian just shook his head at that he doesn't want that factored in.
He doesn't want that factored in. But, I mean, it's not MVP, it's MOP. And no one has had a more outstanding season, I don't think, in the league than Brian Burnham. I mean, he's been the human highlight reel. The one-handers, the spectacular catches on a team that's been struggling is tough to get up mentally. It's tough to play at your best mentally. Look at that catch.
That's the one that didn't count that we still think should have counted.
Should have counted, but it's been that kind of spectacular season. And of course, we're not omitting from the conversation Cody Fajardo, who's had a great year in Saskatchewan as their starting quarterback. So
Don Jackson, he looks quick to start this game and rambles all the way to midfield with that run. And a first down carry of at least 12 for Jackson, who had just 26 in his first start against BC early in the year.
Nice blocking up front. Little cutback lane for Don Jackson. They've run by committee in Calgary. Terry Williams, Kadeem Carey, Omar Morris, all involved in the run game.
Stampeders last in rushing per game. That's an area they'd like to be better in the postseason. Here's Mitchell throwing, and Mayala comes back to the football and makes the catch. And Hergy Mayala is another one of those guys that seems to be getting better by the week.
Well, the last 6 games or so, I mean, Mayala's just shy of 500 yards coming into this last game of the regular season. But I'll tell you what, he has just emerged in a big way. 2 touchdowns in their last game for Mayala in Winnipeg on the road.
4 in the last 4, 303 receiving yards. Whoops. Odell was in a hurry. Beat the snap of the
Offside.
football.
BC number 11. 5-yard penalty. The result will be a first down.
Thought he'd take a chance. The smart move is to not hit anybody. He realized he was way offside, so he just avoided any contact. Ucombre Williams was ready, though.
Game 191 for the 11-year vet. Start number 189 for Odell. There's Jackson, and he gets crumpled down that time. Crashing across was Guzlak Mesa. Off the edge. Or was that Cresden Butler?
I thought it was Guzlak Mesa coming from the backside. But you may be right. Let's take a look. There's Mesa. He's actually to the play side, yeah. So he wasn't the guy who tracked him down. It was Cresden Butler. Normally a corner.
Nice pursuit off the edge. So no gain, 2nd and 10. Mitchell, crosser, unchecked, bumped out, short of the first down. And Rene Paredes will come back on. Well, Levi Mitchell talked about not finishing last week against Winnipeg, and they might not like the fact that they've had this great field position early and are potentially only going to be up by 8.
Well, the big play by TJ Lee on the interception right at the goal line. That took points off the board, potential points.
from 41 out. Paredes just sneaks it in.
Nice draw,
Nothing Stampeders.
I thought that one looked like it was wide when it left his foot.
Thought it might hit the upright.
He played the draw right to the cup and got it in there. I thought maybe you watched the Saskatchewan game and there was something going on with kickers for a second there.
Yeah. Brett Lawther got it sorted out late, but
2 for 6 on the
I liked his
afternoon.
approach. He's going to have a few beers tonight, and he's going to forget about it.
Yeah, good plan. A little easier to do that when you win.
Here's Rentley.
Have a bad game and you win.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier to have some fun with it and say, I'm going to get rid of that one with a couple of beers, but
Brandon Rentley with a pickup of 4. Nate Hawley another tackle. How about Hawley? He said he has a list of goals on his door, and 2 of them were to be the rookie and the special team player of the year in Calgary, so he got that done. Pass caught by Carter, who gets away and up to midfield. So that's the first big play for the BC Lions on offense late in this first quarter.
turns out right at the first down stick, and then settles his hips down when he catches the ball to be able to absorb the hit and pick up a few extra.
Second first down for BC. .16-yard pickup. O'Brien's got lots of time. Anybody open? Now he launches, coming back for it, Jack Johnson, and he's going to draw the flag. Came back to the football and bumped into Jamari Gilbert, and Gilbert will draw the flag.
Pass interference. Calgary number 24. Point of the foul. Automatic first down. And we'll have one more play in the first quarter.
You know, I think this was interference. However, for Gilbert, I would say I'm not sure this is even a catchable ball. Shaq Johnson comes inside, and let's see where this bounced. Well, he did get back into it, so close enough. It looked like that was just came out of the hands of Danny O'Brien really awkwardly and wasn't going to make it even close. But good play by Shaq Johnson to work back to it and draw the penalty flag.
Just the 8th pass interference call against Calgary this year. Fewest number of PI and illegal contact penalties in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, and they don't give up the explosions either.
So John White gets stuffed on the final play of the opening quarter. Calgary with great field position throughout the first 15 minutes. Big takeaway by TJ Lee. The Stamps lead is 8 after the first quarter at BC Place. Armed Forces Appreciation Night here at BC. In their last game of the year, they pay tribute to the veterans. It usually is I think the best in the Canadian Football League, the Remembrance Day tribute that the BC Lions do in their final game in November, and here we are. It's the final game for the Lions this season.
Yeah, make sure you wear your poppies, folks, and put some money in the bin for the poppies for the veterans. There's about 1,000 here in BC Place, both veterans and members of the Canadian Armed Forces from different bases here in British Columbia. So we want to thank them sincerely for all that they do all the time here and overseas.
Well said. Calgary has the lead, but BC threatening here. The Lions with just 29 yards of offense in the opening quarter. 3 first downs, 1 by penalty. Danny O'Brien looking at 2nd and 11. And the crosser, Ryan Langford trying to get outside. Can he turn the corner? Great pursuit by that Stamps defense, and Nate Hawley's on the job again.
Yeah, that's a good example of why he's a nominee, a 2-time nominee, because of that hustle. You know, whether it's on the teams, playing defense, hustling outside, I mean, this is strung out nicely by the Calgary defense, making Langford go from sideline to sideline, and Hawley beats the DBs to it.
So Sergio Castillo comes on. He'll attempt a 34-yarder, 90.9% this season. That's the best in the Canadian Football League. And he'll add to that as he gets BC on the board early here in the second quarter.
Well, some positive there from Daniel Bryan in the BC offense to lead to a field goal, get some points on the board, and a good feeling walking off the field. I wonder if, though, we'll see Brandon Bridge tonight, just to see if BC may take a look at the Canadian quarterback. Daniel Bryan did get something going there. Nice throw to Ron Carter to start that drive.
So the Lions on the board. Calgary elects to take the football at the 35-yard line. And Mitchell going to the air right away. Flicks it deep, wants Bengleton, and Gamboa came back to break it up. Victor Gamboa on the corner, matched up against the MOP nominee.
Yeah, how about the timing from Gamboa? Let's take a look here, because little double move to get him in a chase position. Pretty good composure, turns his head and looks back to the football, so he is playing the football. DBs have just as much right to the ball as long as they turn and go to play it. If they don't just block the receiver from getting there, they draw the penalty flag. No flag there, good no call by the official.
Mitchell 4 for 10 to start with an interception. Second and 10, flag comes down. And he throws underneath, pass caught, but TJ Lee was in the hip pocket of Aaron Peck. Now with the Lions offside, no, the indication it's a flag against Calgary.
It is against Calgary, they'll decline that, and the Lions will, and put them in third.
Offside, Calgary number 1. That penalty be declined. The result of the play is a third down.
So Mayala was ahead of the snap. First 2 and out of the night against the Stampeders. Tied for second in the league in that department. So Rob Maber's on. Ryan Langford's back, along with Brandon Rutley. And it will be Rutley. Up to the 40-yard line. First contact downfield, William Longley, who's back in the Calgary lineup. 8-3 Stamps, Lions football when we come back. It all comes down to this: one day, one shot. Don't miss the MLS Cup. Next Sunday, November 10th, as two familiar foes battle for the third time in 4 years. Toronto FC ride their 13-match winning streak into Seattle, looking to be crowned champs. Coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, only on TSN. Lions start at their 41. John White in the backfield. And O'Brien. Lions burn him for the first time in the game. Up at the 45, just a gain of 4.
I was about to say, does Brian Burnham have to go and talk to Danny O'Brien and just remind him about
Introduce
the season?
himself?
Just remind him, you know, I had a pretty good season. You might want to look my way.
5-yard gain. That's the 94th catch of the year. Career highs in catches and yards. And 10 touchdowns in his last 10 games. Didn't have a touchdown in the first 7, but he made up for lost time. 2nd and 6. Underneath, White, and a big collision there. Whitmick, or check that, Brandon Smith.
There he is.
Brandon Smith, in his final regular season game, stepped up, and we could hear that all over the stadium.
642nd. And he had front row seats. All his teammates right there in the front row watching that nice tackle in the open field. He's done it many, many times. 642 now for Brandon Smith, unless he had one that I missed earlier in the game in the first quarter, but
Bartel boots it. And Terry Williams skips out of bounds just beyond the 25-yard line. 174th game for Brandon Smith. And the 35-year-old still getting it done. Great to see so many men and women from the Canadian Armed Forces here tonight. And with a special guest, here's Farhan Lalji.
Chris, with Captain Cheryl McHugh, who's been a reservist in the Armed Forces for the last 29 years, based here in Vancouver. And the Lions really try to put on a show and make this a very special evening for all members of the Armed Forces. What does it mean to be a part of?
It is such an honor for 15th Field Regiment and any member of the Canadian Armed Forces to be here at an event like this evening. It's our honor. We are honored to serve our country, and it means everything to us that the Lions embrace Canadian Armed Forces members, and we are more than happy to be here tonight.
Well, and for you, this is old hat. This is your 20th year as the director of the band for this unit, so you'll be front and center at halftime.
This year I will be front and center. Usually I've been a member playing in the band, but recently I was commissioned to the rank of captain, and so now I am in charge of directing the band this evening.
So I'm guessing, having been here as long as you've had, doing this for as many years as you've had, you're probably a bit of a football fan.
Oh, absolutely. How can you not be a fan of the Lions?
Thanks for this.
Thank you. Have a great night.
That's awesome.
Outstanding, outstanding, yep. We put on a great show at halftime.
2nd and 10 after that incompletion. Mitchell, he's got Aaron Peck. And Peck able to hold on to that. He got a step in behind Gary Peters, but Peck is shaken up and he needs some attention from the Stampeders sideline.
Yeah, it looked like he landed on his tailbone. Just on the lower back area, that seems to be the issue, but sold out to come up with the catch. Halfback blitz, you see TJ Lee leaving the screen, cuts right across, so it's a halfback blitz. This is the conversion to the deep route. As Peck started to get up, he grabs that lower back. Maybe a spasm back there, and they'll have to medical assistance.
Well, good to see that he's getting up. We'll be right back. Biggest play from scrimmage in the game, a 40-yard connection to Aaron Peck, but shaken up on the impact when he hit the ground and getting attention at the Stampeders sidelines. Not sure if we'll see him back. Didn't look comfortable as he walked over to the training table. It is a Stamp first down at the Lion 43-yard line with Pagleton in motion, pressure coming, and another ball tip before it got to Don Jackson.
One thing that defensive coaches will teach you is that if you got a quarterback who reads and reacts and is going to throw on time, then believe it. You know, sometimes defenders won't believe what they see. They think, well, no, he's not going to throw it that quickly, so they'll keep their hands down, keep in the pass rush. But Bo is so quick to make his read and get the ball out of his hands that you can actually play that. Get your hands up. They've got 2 knockdowns now, the Lions.
David Bernard with his 3rd of the season. 2nd and 10. Mitchell throwing on target here. Underneath the catch made by Huff. He's going to be short of the first down. Looks like it's going to be Beretta's time once again.
Same can be said for defensive backs, Chris. That was, again, a timing throw. It was Wang, 1,000, 2,000, let it go. So if you know that as a DB now, go ahead and take a shot. Go ahead and try and jump a couple of those routes.
Former Stamp Malik Harris there to make that tackle short of the first down. So Paredes looks for his 3rd of the night. 38 yards out, splits it again. It's 11-3 Stampeders.
Important to make those for Paredes. I mean, 6 of his last 9, missed a couple the last couple of games. So such a mental game for the kickers. It really is. It's like a great golf swing. It's just a natural movement to kick the ball, but mentally they've got to be strong, and that's why Lawther right now is got to fight the mental demons from his 2 for 6 game earlier today.
And Dave Dickinson talked about not only momentum, but some positive vibes going into the postseason, and Rennie Paredes establishing that here in the first half. 3 for 3. 8-point Stamp lead. Lions will start again at their 35. Fake to White. O'Brien on a roll, and Burnham is loose there as a first down. Gets cut down along the sidelines by Raheem Wilson. So Brian Burnham's got his second catch of the night.
And Danny O'Brien shows you he can throw on the run a little bit. Got him outside the pocket, play action on a basically a bootleg, getting him outside. And once he gets outside of containment, Brian Burnham has time to run his route, make a couple of moves.
13 for Burnham.
Wow.
Might be a long night for John White. It seemed like 40 was going to be almost automatic for White tonight, but he hasn't got anything established. 6 carries, 8 yards for White here in the first half.
Yeah, that was Calgary just in the kitchen. They were back in the kitchen there, the BC Lions. Changes up front, no Cordero Law. Good season for Chris Casher and Mike Rose, though, in that defensive line. Sort of underrated season, 5 sacks for Rose.
Mike Rose and Derek Wigan have played every game, started every game on that defense. O'Brien steps up and he short hops a wide open Brian Burnham.
Yeah, that one's frustrating for Burnham. I'm just wondering, for the BC Lions, they've seen now Danny O'Brien for most of the Edmonton game. That was when early on in that game, Mike Riley went down. He started Saskatchewan, played pretty much the entire game. Grant Kramer came in, but he was injured pretty early after he got in the lineup. So Danny O'Brien played that game. I'm wondering if we're going to see Brandon Bridge and what he might bring. He's got some experience.
Martell skies that. Going to be no yards, even though the collision was with a teammate back there as Don Jackson helps make the tackle.
He's got to go. He's got to go. Say to Williams.
No yards.
Sorry about
BC
that.
number 33. 15-yard penalty. First down.
No yards call against Wayne Moore inside that 5-yard halo, but a little embarrassment for Jackson as well. The first couple of throws for Bo Levi Mitchell looked very sharp tonight, but now it's 7 for 15 and an interception, and only once has he completed back-to-back passes in his first half.
Yeah, a couple of bat downs at the line of scrimmage. Interception by TJ Lee, the veteran halfback.
Hands it off. Jackson's looked good. There is a flag, though, as Jackson gets hauled down after a run of 6 yards.
Procedure, Calgary, no end. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Well, that'll come back, and not hitting on all cylinders right now for the Stampeders despite the lead.
Well, I guess we shouldn't be surprised, although you always are when you're talking about Calgary. It's such a well-coached team. Dave Dickinson leading the way. They are second in the league with second fewest penalties in the league, so it's not been a problem. But when you have to change your entire O-line, different receivers, you're going to get a couple of those procedure calls.
3-man front, 1st and 15, lots of time going through the reads. Boy, how many steamboats does he get? And he's got Mayala on a first down back in BC territory. You can't give any quarterback that much time, certainly not number 19.
No, and this was 3-man pressure, so Mitchell knows that he can be patient. But I love how he's going to know that he's got the wheel route to Mayala down the sideline as he steps up here, and he looks over the middle to Begelton and then flips his shoulders back to number 1 over there by the hash mark. Look at him, look at Begelton. He looks at Begelton, and then he goes, okay, now I pulled the coverage away. Now I'm going back to the sideline.
Did take a hit after the throw from David Menard, but it's a 31-yard connection and a first down. Here's Terry Williams. And he gets stacked up after about 5. Ball popped loose, but the whistle had sounded.
Those are little things, you know, but it's those little things that take you from good to great. And well, Levi Mitchell's great. And when he does those subtle things well, looking off, even in a scramble situation. Now, it's just 3-man pressure, so first of all, he knows he can be patient. As long as his guys don't get a holding call up front. Steps up, looks off cover. Impressive.
3-man front again. Over the middle, wide open. That's Richie Sindani with a first down catch.
Yeah, Kevin Haynes was a linebacker, and I don't know if he got the wrong coverage or how that worked out, but he just got pulled up.
Pretty good company there, isn't he?
Absolutely is. And you know that Bo Levi Mitchell and Sam Etcheverry in the top 20 in passing yards in the league's history. Those are the only 2 quarterbacks in the top 20 that have only played on one team.
Interesting. Mitchell 8 years with the Stampeders now. Here's Jackson. It's brought down by Newsom. And here comes Aaron Peck. That's good to see.
Yeah, he wasn't putting any weight on that leg as he walked off. It looked like it was a back spasm or something to do with his hip possibly, but good to see him come back out.
Don't see a lot of receivers with his frame. He's an old tight end style receiver at 6'3", 249. Terry Williams has checked into the backfield. 2nd and 8. They send an extra one, and Mitchell throws. End zone! Incomplete. Begelton can't make the catch. That's twice. He's had a hand on the football in the end zone.
Yeah, and it was Dozier this time, I believe, that opened up, and he may have got a tip. Just tipped it away from Begelton. Frustration from top 2 receivers in the Canadian Football League, with Brandon Banks, of course, in that conversation as well. He's the number 1 guy. The Hamilton Tiger Cats. Begelton number 3, and Burnham, a little frustration on his last outing.
So Rennie Paredes getting a workout here in the first half. 25 yards out. Adds to the lead, 14-3. Stamps with just over 3 minutes left here in the opening half.
You know, one of the reasons I'm talking about Brandon Bridge for the BC Lions is A, you get a chance to look at him in your offense with your personnel. You know, B, you've seen Danny O'Brien in 2 full games now as the backup to Mike Riley. I mean, no one's talking about a guy who's going to take over for Riley when he's healthy again next year, but he can also run. So if deep down you'd love to spoil the home field advantage for Calgary and somehow come back and win this game, you know, Bridge brings a different element. He can take off and run with the football as well, and he's got some CFL experience in big games.
Just 47 yards of net offense for BC so far in this opening half. One more play before the warning. Here's White. And White finally springs for a few extra yards. Looks like about 7 for John White on that carry as we hit the warning. Lions down by 11 here in the opening half of the regular season finale.
Stampeders leading, 3 minutes to halftime. Coming up, we'll talk about this game and how Calgary's matching up against Winnipeg heading into the playoffs, whether it's at McMahon or IG Field. Also, the 7-Eleven player rankings looks at the players nominated for most outstanding player. Let's go back to Chris and Glenn.
I'll look forward to the guys breaking down that Western semifinal, whether it be Winnipeg or in Calgary. There's White again, and he's going to get stopped short of the first down. So 7 on the previous carry, but limited there.
Last short yardage third down play for BC, they didn't get it.
Yeah, going to be 3rd and a yard. Looks like they're going to go for it again. And does Brandon Bridge,
this
handle short yardage? You'd think he might be in here.
Yeah, I'd be leaning that way as well. He's
6'5", 235. Of course, O'Brien handled short yardage even with Mike Riley as the starter. Stuffed once. So now 22 of 24 takes the outside route and got it, but they might have been holding their breath. Nate Hawley with the tackle, but they do get a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, he went sideways. You go sideways, you turn your shoulder pads that direction, and you're taking a gamble, but he got there.
First and 10. Gonna swing it out to White. And White over top of a low tackle from Lorenzo Jerome.
It's closing in, but that was a throw, so I won't count his rushing yards. Just 17 rushing yards so far. He's got more receiving yards in those little dump passes.
4 catches, 21 yards.
Here they come.
Ball into the hands, and Langford can't make the catch. And BC will have to punt it away.
Yeah, that's the one where the receivers got the hot route. You can't put that one on Danny O'Brien, but the receivers got the hot route. And he's gotta just protect himself, catch the ball. He had first down territory when he got to the ball. He just has to protect himself, catch the football, and it's a first down. Looked like he tried to catch it and run with it.
Bartell's punt, fielded by Terry Williams at the 11-yard line. Trying to get outside here and nothing doing. Great cover on Terry Williams, and leading the charge, an old teammate Malik Harris.
Had a good season. Good season for BC. Malik Harris.
Again, coming up at halftime, Ram at the half. Milt, Hank, Davis, and Rod will break down what they've seen here so far tonight and set up that Western semi.
I want to know what they're thinking with MOP, because just talking about the West Division, the MOP with Burnham and Bagleton. You've got Willie Jefferson and Fajardo. Trevor Harris, by the way, is the nominee out of Edmonton, but he missed a ton of games.
Here's Mitchell, slant pattern caught.
And I noticed when we talked about it earlier, you were quite silent on that. You're gonna hedge your bet.
Giving you a lot of rope here.
You're not committing yet publicly on who you're voting for, but I'm voting, and it is difficult. I mean, Bagleton, great season on a better team. Outstanding season by Burnham on a team that may only win 5 games all year.
I mean, if one of these two guys puts up 100 here tonight, a couple touchdowns, it might swing the balance.
It might swing it. And Cody Fajardo, you know, that drive when they needed it from not this past game. Of course, he missed. If you didn't see the earlier games, Fajardo didn't play because of a back issue, but the game before, to very important game, that drive from the 6-yard line, that put him sort of almost atop the conversation again.
One of my dilemmas is it's the most outstanding player, and yet I'd like to factor in a little bit of value, and then Fajardo's case becomes stronger.
And then the degree of difficulty.
Mitchell airs this one out by Alla. can't make the catch. Got a flag back in the Calgary offensive backfield.
Yeah, there was a couple, I think. I'm not sure if the one that's still back there now on the 10-yard line, that was way late, that flag, almost like a late hit on
Mitchell signaling ones against
Offside,
BC.
Calgary 84. Major foul, roughing the passer. BC number 44 will bounce those at the line of scrimmage. Automatic first down.
So it is a first down. That's a couple of offsides for the Calgary offense. They lead the league in offensive offsides.
Well, in home field or not, Dave Dickinson does not want to see that on his starting quarterback. Thought there that Messam made the hit, could have avoided it after the ball had left Mitchell's hands.
Otherwise, BC's getting the ball back. Calgary stays on the field. And they screen it to Jackson. Jackson with a cutback. Got a first down. Up across the 47-yard line. They'll mark it at the 48.
Lots of time for 3, maybe 4 more plays before you line up for a field goal. And if Mitchell can get a chunk here, they can even think about the end zone.
7 different receivers for Mitchell. He had 10 last week. Down the rail for Huff. Got it, but stepped out of bounds. Couldn't get a foot in.
Outstanding coverage from Gary Peters, who had to be considered, I'm sure he was.
Yeah, that was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, as the outstanding defensive player nominee for BC. TJ Lee got it, and their stats are very, very close. He's had an outstanding season in a tough year for the Lions. 4 interceptions coming in, 81 defensive plays. That's tied with TJ Lee for the team lead. Don't often see that from the secondary, and he just ran Huff out of room there.
Second and 10. Again, 3-man rush, dumped to Jackson, and he dropped the ball. Excuse me, Terry Williams unable to catch that, and will take the offense off the field. There's another catchable football, and Mitchell's had some drops in recent weeks.
You saw him take his eyes off. Just peeked. Oh, he's, uh-oh. Halftime around the corner here.
Yeah, they've got an 11-point lead, but
I think they're going to hear from their head coach at halftime.
Oh. Lions jump, so they'll move it up 5.
You know, I think Dave Dickinson.
Offside, BC number 33. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
For the first time in a while, this Calgary team doesn't have the break. Aren't waiting on the team to win the semifinal to get to that West Final in Calgary. This year, they're going to have to play the semifinal next week, and he wants them to be playoff ready, whether they're backup players or not. Playing with that intensity and focus that you need in the playoffs.
Decent lead, but this game could have almost been put away by now. And here's Brandon Rudley, take it off! Flag is down as Rudley brought it back across the 50-yard line. We'll check the flag. And there's an injured BC Lion as well.
During the return, holding BC number 25.
So O'Shane Samuels flagged for a hold, and that will negate a good-looking Rutley return.
Preston Butler is down.
Checking the left leg. Looks like ankle is the concern. And here's Ante Leiter on the special teams. Hauling down Rutley.
Got some reps at tailback as well in the last few games. All the injuries to the running backs for the Calgary Stampeders. Did a pretty nice job filling in for those guys. Another weapon. Dickinson can go 2 back with Leiter and Don Jackson or Terry Williams if he wants. Ante Leiter could also play a little bit of tight end. or that lead fullback spot.
So Butler slowly to the sidelines. A play or two remaining this first half for BC. Not likely to take any chances.
One more thing on the Brandon Bridge discussion. And one more, I'm going to try and sell it one more time. You think Brandon Bridge would be motivated to show the entire league that he can still play or he can play?
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I think he, more so than just playing for jobs, Brandon Bridge would love to go and get an opportunity and maybe light up the second half if he could with both his legs and his arm.
He looks ready.
He wants it. He's trying to hint out loud to Devon Claybrooks over there.
Well, will we see Brandon Bridge in the second half? Not a lot from the BC Lions offense in the opening half. 5 first downs, 62 yards. Dave Dickinson, Stampeders not sharp, but have a 14-3 lead at halftime as we join Rod Smith.
I got that old country soul, that boondock swag in my stroll, rock it wherever.
Freshman Year, the debut full-length album from the Reclaws featuring the brand new single Old Country Soul. Listen now on Apple Music. Halftime numbers, Calgary in control mainly because of their defense. Only 62 net yards for BC in this one. Reggie Begelton has a couple of catches and 38 yards. Could have had a lot more than that. Here he is now with Farhan Lalji.
Reggie, plenty of yardage, but also a lot of offsides, bogging down in the red zone. Are you surprised this late in the season that you're still dealing with it?
Well, our team, we've been having a lot of moving parts throughout the whole year, and this is one of those times where we have a lot of moving parts. On the O-line, receiving core, even the defense, we just got to mesh and come in the second half and ball.
For you personally, 2 catches, 38 yards. I know that receiving title's in the back of your mind. You've had your hand on a couple of others. Are you thinking about it?
No, I'm not thinking about it. It's just I got to calm down. Just got to calm down, make the catches. I got to treat it like practice.
Thanks for this. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Could have had a couple of touchdown catches in this one, and Calgary could have been leading by more, but no, BC staying in this. You know, the Bombers are cheering for a Lions comeback here. They're going to get home field next week. All right, Belinda Hung, you still have a half. Save on Foods, $1 million touchdown to win. If a kickoff's return for a TD, you can get a $10,000 home theater package if it happens twice. $1 million. Again, good luck, Belinda. Second half of the final game. Back to Chris and Glenn.
Thank you, Rod. Here we go. 14-3. Stampeders trying to nail down that home playoff spot for the Western Semi next week against Winnipeg. They lead by 11, and Farhan Lalji's with TJ Lee.
TJ, another interception. You've been on a pretty good roll these last 5 weeks. What's it been like?
Man, it's a testament to coach. You know, it was a great play call. I had Coach RP's words in my brain. Stay inside, stay inside. I felt the double move behind me and just jumped inside, made the play for my team.
I want to ask you about the play of this defense because Calgary's been able to move the ball, but in the red zone, you guys have been pretty good holding them to just field goals. What's changed in the red zone?
We need to be better at playing situations. So, I mean, we're not playing situations. There's no way when there's 1 minute left before the half that they should get over top of us. Coach is calling the right calls. We need to execute.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Coach RP is Ryan Phillips, who just happened to snare 47 interceptions in his distinguished career.
Yeah, TJ Lee is wise to listen to his old teammate and now coach, Ryan Phillips. The question is, are we going to see Danny O'Brien in the second half? Calgary will get the ball first to start the second half. I know Devon Claybrooks can't hear me sort of making my argument for Brandon Bridge, but see what the Lion head coach has for us in the second half. Doesn't look like he's loosening up or warming up, although he does have the helmet on.
Underway, second half. Terry Williams, little crease here, and Williams brings it out beyond the 40-yard line to set things up. Kevin Haynes and TJ Lee were down there on the teams. Here's Mitchell, 12 of 23, so not as high a percentage as usual for him, but 186 passing yards in that first half.
Yeah, a couple of his passes were batted down, so there's that. Also, a couple of deep shots that he was real close to connecting on, 2 to his #1 target, Reggie Begelton, that were dropped. You heard that halftime interview from Begelton saying he's just got to go back to feeling like it's practice and just pitch and catch.
Here we go. Don Jackson starts in the backfield, and he gets tackled around the 46-yard line, so maybe 3, 2nd and 7. There's Big Sheen Bergman. Bergman, the outstanding offensive lineman, so he got to have a little media scrum this week. Said it was the first time in 7 years that a group of media actually got to talk to the big guy.
Yeah, which, you know, honestly is too bad, because we should really talk more to the big boys up front, the old linemen, because they're all very well-spoken, intelligent guys.
2nd and 7. Mitchell throws, looking deep. Don Jackson down there in. Pretty good matchup between the linebacker and the running back.
Yeah, Don Jackson's not complaining. I heard from the sideline, it sounded like Dave Dickinson was yelling for maybe a face guard here from Haynes. I think he was just kind of sticking his hand out. That's in slow motion, so it looked like it was there longer. And now Don Jackson may be saying to Dickinson, you know what, you could challenge that.
Maver punts it away. Dave Dickinson needs to rally here because he's last in challenges, 1 for 6 on the year.
A lot less though than a lot of coaches. That's for sure. And he and his brother Craig started out over, and I think their first 4 or 5.
Craig's got him though.
Devon Claybrooks has challenged 14 times this year. He's won 8 of those.
He leads in successful challenges, Claybrooks. The best percentage, not sure how he did today, if he challenged at all, but Orlando Steinauer was the most efficient. And congratulations to the Ticats on a historic 15-win season in the Hammer. Well, can John White get it going in the second half? Doesn't look like it. Taken down by the safety, Courtney Stephen. Remember, White needs 40, had 17 in the first half, and he's going to lose a yard on that play.
Well, and the BC Lions offensively, they didn't have 100 yards of net offense in the first half. In fact, it was around 62 net yards, and they just lost some more to start the second half.
And you know how badly John White wants 1,000.
Absolutely.
The 2nd and 11. O'Brien just shovel it to White, who slipped and wasn't going very far anyway. When McManus was on the scene.
Boy, full credit though to Brent Monson's defense and this group for Calgary. I mean, they have a completely new secondary here. A couple of veterans are still in there. Raheem Wilson playing out of position. Brandon Smith is playing his spot. He's the only guy in the secondary that's playing his normal spot. D-line is changed up.
Bartel to punt. Williams from his 36. What a good collision there. Downfield in a hurry was the long snapper Tanner Dahl. So it's Stampeder football when we come back early 3rd quarter. Calgary with an 11-point lead. Mentioned at the end of the 1st quarter, nobody does the tribute to the military and our veterans better than the BC Lions in their final home game of the regular season, and they did it upright again here tonight, honoring these great heroes.
Well, my tenure has run out, Chris, but as a former honorary colonel and one that will always be supporting the 417 Squadron up in Cold Lake, Alberta, I still get the Air Force newsletter that all the honorary colonels get. And that Air Force newsletter has the stories from around the world with regards to what our men and women in the armed forces are doing. And it's dangerous out there, as you all know. And they're taking orders and they're protecting us around the world. So it's amazing when I read through these articles once a week and I go, man, they're still over there doing this and different operations. I mean, obviously it's not in detail, but once again, we want to thank you all for protecting us and our way of life.
Those currently doing it and the men and women who
absolutely
have done it with such great distinction in the past. Second and long here after Terry Williams was stopped, and there's a drop. Aaron Peck unable to bring that one in. Haynes looked like he had a shot at the interception and might have provided a bit of a distraction.
Exactly. Kevin Haynes drops underneath this, and yeah, you say, come on, you want to make that catch, hit you in the hands, a little bit behind him, but I think it was that distraction from a guy that I think is a real keeper, Kevin Haynes for the BC Lions.
Back-to-back 2-and-outs for Calgary. 4 consecutive incompletions for Mitchell and the Stampeders, and here's Rutley back to the 35, and Bo Levi Mitchell now 12 of 25 in the football game. But the Stampeders have the lead, and we will see Brandon Bridge when we come back to BC Place Stadium. Well, will be Brandon Bridge here in the second half to get a look, a late addition to the BC Lions with the injury to Mike Riley. Last year, 1,236 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and let's see if he can crack the code of this Stampeder defense. First to White, and John White lowers the boom and gets 5. Let's check in with Farhan Lalji.
Guys, you remember that Bridge was released by Montreal at the end of July before the Lions brought him back a couple of weeks ago, and he said it's been tough trying to stay in football shape without actually playing football. He's been throwing with guys like Chad Owens and Devon Bailey, and he was also preparing for life after football. He wants to be a police officer down the road. When he was 14, his youth football coach, a guy named Sean McKenna, who was the superintendent of the Peel Police Department, asked him to get involved with some volunteer events. He thinks football and police, there's a lot of similarities because of the teamwork. He's filled out all of his applications. He's ready to go, but he hopes he can still hang on to his football career for a little while longer and doesn't have to make the change quite yet.
First throw is a money one for a first down. Yeah, that one to Duron Carter.
You know, there's a former Montreal draft pick back in 15, but I think back to the 2017 Eastern Final when he was with Saskatchewan playing against Toronto. And after Kevin Glenn had an off start and 3 interceptions and under 50% passing, he came in around midway through the second quarter, almost beat the Argos to take Saskatchewan to the Cup.
Got them to the lead, but a guy by the name of Ray drove the field in the final minute to get it done. This is also what he can do. Takes off there. Hawley in on the tackle. You know, see if he can stretch this defense a little bit with that mobility of his.
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, he know athletically he can push the edges to a point where it might open up the middle for John White a little bit more, because right now from tackle to tackle, Calgary Stampeders D-line and front 7 is just taking away the run from John White. But if they have the threat of Brandon Bridge on the edge, now you have to be careful that you don't let him out and around the corner.
2nd and 6. They empty it out. 6 receivers for Bridge. And that one patted down at the line of scrimmage. And big Derek Wigan looked like he got a paw on it. And Wigan, one of only 4 Stampeders to start and play in all 18 games for Calgary this year.
Yeah, they just loaded it up and said, okay, you haven't played football in a long time, so let's see if you can handle when you can't block all our guys. Courtney Stephen made the right decision right at the end of that to not run over Bridge and take a penalty. Oh, fake here,
and look out! Brandon Rutley down to the 20-yard line. What's your final game? Why not?
Why not? Why not? Dig deep into the playbook. Oh, Big Nick is excited about that one. He must have drawn that one up. Nick Lewis must have said, I got an idea. Let's get Rutley in the backfield. Number 21, middle of your screen. Direct snap to him, get around the edge. And let a tailback just take it. But why not? I mean, you're BC. You reach deep into that playbook on teams, defense, and offense.
36 yards on that third down gamble. And into the red zone for the first time tonight, and Bridge right back to work. And now they go two back with Rutley and White. Over the middle, snared there. A good catch by Shaq Johnson. The receivers know they'll be catching fastballs from Brandon Bridge.
Yeah, he can throw it. He has a different release, which I think honestly has maybe planted a bad seed in the minds of some coaches that thought that his release is just a little unorthodox, and it just doesn't look like the normal release most quarterbacks have. But he can throw it, man. I mean, he can throw a fastball. He's got a great deep ball.
2nd and 5. Gotta hurry up. Just got it away. And here's White. Yeah, White's got something there. Gets hauled down by Jabbar Westerman, the former BC Lion defensive tackle.
All of a sudden, a little bit softer, right? A little bit softer here when you have the threat of this to the outside. I mean, it's really quite simple. You got to be wider at the defensive line position. You got to make sure your splits between each guy is a little bit wider to make sure you harden the edges for number 10.
Danny O'Brien, 65 net yards in the first 9 drives. Bridge has 70 in his opening possession here, although the 36 came on a third down play without him. And into the back of the end zone, PI against Lorenzo Jerome in that battle with Duron Carter.
Yeah, no question there. Carter was behind him, and Jerome grabbed him.
Pass interference, Calgary number 49. The foul occurred in goal. The ball was placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
He's got his jersey, and I could see his right shoulder get pulled back before Duron Carter tried to sell it. He did sell it.
There was a sales job at the end of it.
Yeah, there was a sales job at the end, but before that, his shoulder got pulled back from the jersey.
So O'Brien comes in for the short yardage group. 1st and goal from the 1. See if we get the first touchdown of the night. McManus over the top, but they whistle touchdown. O'Brien breaks the play. They'll review it. But BC hits pay dirt and gets back in it.
And they're going to take one. Wow, that's...
He does break the plane, and if they were reviewing anything, they'd see a
face mask.
Pretty flagrant face mask from Wynton McManus over the top.
Absolutely. And for Danny O'Brien, talk about paying the price for that 1 yard. His head wrenched around like that.
In fact, I'm surprised the command center hasn't ruled on that. 9 plays, 75 yards, and a BC touchdown here to perk up interest in Winnipeg tonight.
Exactly. Stay tuned.
They kicked for 1 instead of going for 2, and it's a 14-10 Stampeder lead. Well, they have a fake successful on a third down play to get them close, and Danny O'Brien breaks the plane for the first touchdown of the night. Four-point game here as they go over the last series on the tablet. 9 plays, 75 yards. Biggest play of the drive was a third down gamble and a direct snap to Brandon Rutley for 36.
Right there. Take 2 steps.
There's Mike Riley coaching up Brandon Bridge.
As Williams tripped up on the return. Wayne Moore gets down in a hurry to make the special teams tackle. Lions have a little momentum as the plot thickens here in game 81 of the regular season.
Is that too heavy? Try it.
I got it.
Wow.
This looks amazing. Can I help you make a few?
Sure.
You sure?
Huh?
Hi, I'm Derek. Nice to meet you. What's the ultimate dream for your business?
We have this hunger project that I give back to the kids to buy food.
How long have you had this dream?
10 years.
So you're 6 years old and you had the dream for 10 years. That's pretty good. That's someone that knows what they want to do in life.
The College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show, Tuesday at 9 on ESPN.
Connected to those.
Alexa, what's on my schedule today?
At 2 p.m., there's a haircut appointment.
Alexa, play some music. Alexa, how do I get shiny hair?
For shiny hair, consider incorporating finishing oil to your styling routine.
There's Nate Hawley, who is the Rookie of the Year in Calgary. They have a special that Nate Hawley wasn't expecting earlier this week.
The media just voted on a bunch of league awards, but this one is special because we vote on it. And this isn't just about on-field production, it's about what you bring to the organization as a whole. So we're talking about your presence in the meeting rooms, the locker rooms, what kind of teammate you are. Rookie of the Year is Nate Hawley.
They get him every year. Sometimes it's a bucket of water, but all the rookies in the front row get pied, and it's interesting. Rob Maver set it up way back when he was a rookie. He got it too.
Yeah,
It's an annual tradition.
And I love the expectation on all the faces of those rookies going, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
It's all of you. Out of the backfield, took that off the shoe tops. Nice catch by Don Jackson. Gets jolted out of bounds by TJ Lee, but that's a Calgary first down and a little more urgency perhaps for the Stampeders now after that BC Lion touchdown.
No, I think you made a good point in the commercial, Chris, about this Calgary team that, you know, they're a good football team, but they're human, and they watched Saskatchewan take the division earlier today, and there must have been some disappointment. They're just uncharacteristic mistakes and a little bit of sloppiness that you don't normally see from Calgary Stampeder football.
Mitchell at 50% passing. Steps up here, trying to go deep for Bagleton. Incomplete. And Gamboa was there step for step again. In fact, he had some help.
Again, this is the second time that Victor Gamboa has turned at the right time. I mean, he's covering one of the top receivers in the game, and he's now going to drop his man and realize the ball's going to Bagleton, so he drops his guy, Mayala, on the crosser, spins his hips, gets his eyes back to the ball, and doesn't get a penalty flag for pass interference.
I think we might get a challenge here.
Dave's going to take a look at it. Take a look. I thought he turned nicely, and
Calgary is challenging that there was pass interference on the play. We'll review the play.
We'll send all angles to the command center and let them take another look and see if Dave Dickinson saw something that we didn't, because it looked like he turned nicely to play the football. He's down in the bottom corner of your screen. Now he realized the ball is going to Bagleton, so he turns. Question is he with the left arm pushing Bagleton away from the football? He has as much right to it, and he's trying to play it. Bagleton grabs the arm. I don't know if there's enough there to overturn. Is that a clear and obvious mistake made on the field? We'll see. Pretty good defense, you ask me, but it was.
Here's the verdict from Tom Valesi.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Calgary will be charged with their first timeout.
Because back in the studio right now, I got two guys that are saying, no way, man, he pushed him. And I got one guy on the studio saying, I think that was real nice defense turning like that. Dave doesn't agree.
You know what he thinks. So it's 2nd and 10. Five-man front. Pocket collapses with Mitchell on target. And he does have Bagleton in front of Crescent Butler back after being shaken up in the first half, 13 yards, and a Stampeder first down.
Yeah, good tough play for the Calgary offense. This is a dig down play, 2nd and 10. They didn't get the challenge, and they step in and convert to move the chains. Tough throw in traffic, got it done.
That catch puts Bagleton ahead of Burnham into 2nd in CFL receiving. 3 catches on 7 targets tonight. Big to Jackson. TJ Lee on the blitz. Stepping up and launching deep and missed Bagleton by a stride or 2.
Just the pocket negotiation from Bo Levi Mitchell is just outstanding. He's facing a blitz coming from the right of your screen from TJ Lee. Steps up in front of that, sidesteps the pressure up the middle, and he has Bagleton wide open and just misses him. I mean, you can't blame chemistry for that one.
So 2nd and 10 from the Calgary 50. Mitchell 2 of his last 8. Coming again. Stepping up, throwing, and getting a hand on it again. Gamboa, he's had a good night. Intended for Hergy Mayala.
Yeah, he has had a good night. And underneath, I believe Kevin Haynes was in there too. There's the vertical, just making it a tougher throw for Mitchell. But look at that, this time undercutting the throw. Gamboa, Eastern Washington product. 3rd or 4th big play here tonight.
High kick, not too deep. Fielded by Langford and run out and tossed out, and that will be 15 against Nate Hawley for the late hit.
Yeah, that was well out of bounds there.
That will improve the field position.
That's like in beer league hockey when you get the cheap shot and the guy walks over to you and says,
unnecessary roughness.
Sorry, man.
Calgary number 40. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
You know, the Chiefs whack on the back of the legs, and then he comes over. Hey, sorry, man. Sorry. No,
it does it the next time.
And it does it again. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want your sorry. In fairness to Hawley, he was rolling and give the benefit of the doubt there that he might not have known exactly where he was on the field, but definitely a penalty.
As this drive starts, John White 10 away from 1,000. And here's White. Not much.
Oh, they dropped it?
He did drop it. Calgary's up with it.
I'm giving it to him.
It is Stampeder football. That's Vincent Desjardins, the rookie from Laval, who comes up with the football. And a big turnover for the Stampeder defense.
Jabbar Westerman is the guy who's going to rip it out of there. Hit by Witten McManus. Not the night that John White was hoping for so far.
Hawley first contact, and then McManus and Desjardins rips
Desjardins.
it out.
It was Desjardins getting it out of there.
6'1", 264, Laval product. Just made his biggest play in the Canadian Football League. Ken Austin used to say, you never know when the spotlight's going to find you.
Absolutely. That's why that goes to that saying that you're only as good as the weakest link on your team, because that spotlight will find him.
Mitchell bouncing around again, a scheme, but throws it up, and it's dropped. Gary Peters had a gift and couldn't hold on.
where did Mitchell think that? Was there a deep receiver that he thought was just going to work his way back? He just kind of let that go. Now he had to avoid the rush a couple of times here, so might have got a little skittish. Got out there, he felt that pressure again, spins under, and just throws it almost like he was throwing it away. How did Gary Peters drop that one?
Wow. 4 interceptions on the year, and that should have been number 5 for number 4. 2nd and 10. Mitchell 2 of his last 10, running out of time, and Kevin Haynes brings him down. Ball's on the turf. Who comes up with it? Haynes with the forced fumble, but they're saying Calgary got back on it. Tom Valesi says it's 3rd down. Big break for Calgary.
Cambray Williams got there, I believe.
Strip stack for Haynes, but Cambray Williams saves the day for the Stampeders.
Kevin Haynes is a good football player. In the back half of this season, boy, we've talked about it, but he reminds me of Adam Bighill in his early days. His great hustle. That's a strip sack from behind. Ball is out. Cambray Williams tackles 2 guys and the ball.
Haber looks for the corner. See where they marked that. Did he get it inside the 10? Looks like it's going to go out at the 13-yard line. So it's still a 4-point Calgary lead in the final half minute of this 3rd quarter. So a long field for Brandon Bridge. 2 for 3 for 16 yards so far.
So if you're Brandon Bridge now, Chris, you're looking at that play sheet on your arm and saying, where is 16? Which play gets the ball to 16? He's up there by himself at the top of your screen.
Go, take to White. Gunned it over the middle. Got to Ron Carter, who is spun down by Brandon Smith. But a 1st down for the Lions.
That play was designed to Brian Burnham.
Final play of that 3rd quarter. On Military Appreciation Night. First touchdown of the game goes to the Lions on a quarterback sneak. And this one is in the balance heading to the 4th quarter in the regular season finale. Through 45 minutes and more yards for the BC Lions in that 3rd quarter than they amassed in the first half. And how often do you see that stat line for Bo Levi Mitchell?
You don't. The BC Lions have caught him in an off game, and maybe he's missing Eric Rogers, who's out of the lineup tonight, but you just don't see that from Bo Levi Mitchell. We talked about him averaging over 350 yards since he's returned from injury. So they got him on an off night, and it's going down to the wire.
Season low percentage-wise for Mitchell, 59% prior to tonight. He's at 45% completion percentage. And you get the feeling that this is going to go down to the wire like that Edmonton-Saskatchewan game did earlier today. Bridge to throw, wide side of the field, great catch. Guess who? Well, that's vintage Brian Burnham one more time in 2019.
It's like when a great goaltender sees the puck and he can stop anything. I mean, when Brian Burnham, he's got a guy right in front of him that should distract him. That undercut right there should have distracted number 16, but when you're locked in as he is, and he has been all season long, look at that catch. Another great catch by Brian Burnham.
24 for Burnham, so back into second ahead of Bagleton as they go back and forth. First down up at the 49. They'll swing it to White, see if he gets the edge, cuts it back, and gets tripped up there by Raheem Wilson. Mark him close to the 53 and a gain of 4.
Jamar Wall almost had a knockdown there. Brandon Bridge threw it around the Calgary linebacker.
So it's 2nd and 7. And Bridge guns that. Got Burnham again. Another first down for Brian Burnham. 2nd down conversion catch. The league leader in that department.
Yeah, and he's locked in now. Yeah, I think Brandon Bridge in that first throw, it didn't look like that was the read where Burnham made the big catch. But Brandon Bridge was locked in there, and he was staring down Brian Burnham from the beginning of the play.
5 straight completions for Bridge, 6 for 7 here in the second half.
Burnham's going to the field this time.
Draw to White. Nothing doing. Push back once again. Mike Rose was there, and he had some company. And if John White gets to 1,000 tonight, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, he's going to have to earn it, isn't he? Because this Calgary defensive front is just, they're not committing on these draw plays that BC is trying. You know, the idea on a draw play is you want the D-line to get upfield quickly, and the tailback then is past him already. He's looking at the linebackers when he gets the ball. This Calgary D-line isn't buying it.
Just lost 5, so he's 14 away. 2nd and 15, pressure coming. Bridge got away. It gets away again. And then throws it away. And Lorenzo Jerome has the interception. Doesn't get up and finally gets tagged down. But a takeaway for the Calgary defense as Bridge avoided 2 sacks, but then put it in the hands of a Calgary defender. Well, desperation from the young quarterback, and maybe should have taken the sack.
On my shoulder, make shapes in the clouds. Straight to my head, never wanna come down.
Well, this pick is on Brandon Bridge, but take a look down here at Deron Carter. He needs more effort out of his receivers. Carter's going to wave for the football here. Now, this is a bad decision and a bad throw by Bridge, but stop it there. Now, watch Carter here. You know, I mean, he basically thinks the play is over. He shuts it down. He's kind of walking. He's casual. And then he goes, well, wait a minute. You're still alive. Well, now I'm waving for it, but not really coming back to compete. So, I mean, again, it's Brandon Bridge's throwing decision to the squad, to the hands of Lorenzo Jerome, but needs a better effort from his receiver.
Jackson runs through an arm tackle, spins off another, but finally is dropped. That was the 25th interception of the year for the Stampeders, league leaders in that department, and the first for Lorenzo Jerome in the CFL. Victor Gamboa makes another play. Speaking of corners, souvenir for Jerome.
Well, the question is, can Bo get on track here?
What's he have on 2nd and 9?
Got Bagleton at 3 receiver spot.
Comes pressure, pocket collapses, and got Bagleton, but Dozier in his hip pocket. It's going to be well short, and the punt team has to come on.
Now they put him in that trip spot, the 3rd receiver to the field spot, and closest to Bo Levi Mitchell. But his route was short of the 1st down. What he's hoping is that those linebackers are going to drop way off. Bagleton can catch it, turn, and run with it. 2 and out.
Neighbor punt, and it's Langford at his 32 with the flag. Rutley, excuse me. Flag came down right as Rutley took the punt. We'll sort out the penalty when we come back. Final game of the regular season. We want to send our thanks out to Steve Daniel, the official CFL stats boss guru. and one of the hardest working guys in the league. Thanks, Steve, for all you do for all of us who cover the league, and also a chance to thank our statsman, John Perlberg's at our side tonight. The Moyers, Ryan and David, Johnny Russin. Thanks to all of them for keeping us in check. Fake to White, another to Burnham. Another first down catch for Brian Burnham.
Yeah, I want to echo that. And just with Steve Daniel and his work and what the league has come from. I mean, the stats were few and far between and kind of all over the place before he arrived. And, you know, Steve Daniel has done such a great job of putting together the packages that, you know, in-depth analytics on all these teams all the time. Got the history of the players and the records that are broken. He's right on top of it all. And you can call it. You and I have done this.
Yep.
Call him at like midnight, you know, and say, hey, I'm thinking about this quarterback stat, and he'll find it for you about 10 minutes later. Thank you for your work.
Fake to White. Burnham's got another catch. This time looks like 9 for Brian Burnham. That's 6 grabs now for 74. And I believe 5 of them since Brandon Bridge came in.
And I was watching the warm-up for the BC Lions, and Brandon Bridge and Brian Burnham were talking a ton, and they were almost just playing catch for a good portion of the warm-up. I thought if Brandon Bridge gets in this game, I think he might lock into Burnham. Now, Calgary may know that too, or catch on here in a second, but for now, Burnham's on a bit of a roll.
First meeting, Burnham had 10 catches against Calgary. Here's White, left side. And he's got the first down. Up at the 45.
Man, he is chopping at that tree, isn't he? he's standing at the bottom of one of these big
Nobody told him it was a redwood, though.
Yeah, big West Coast trees, and he's swinging the axe trying to bring it down, but it is just tough sledding. He keeps looking, thinking it's never going to fall.
We don't cheer for teams, but you know, you cheer for people, and John White would look good on him 1,000 yards, wouldn't it? Gonna try again here.
Just making it
There's
tough.
5 more. And now he's 6 yards away.
Derek Wigan and Mike Rose said, I don't want John, nice guy or not, they don't want him to get to 1,000 on their watch. So they are making it tough.
2nd and 5. Calgary, the number 3 team against the run this year.
And by the way, that shot at Derek Wigan right there, that is about the circumference of one of the big trees out here in the West Coast. He's a big boy.
2nd and 5. Here comes Calgary. They knock it down. Pressure coming. That's Dexter McCoyle in the Calgary defense. Just signed a couple of weeks ago in his 2nd game, getting his acclimatized to his new team's defensive scheme.
Yeah, nice pickup by Calgary. I mean, this is magic from John Hufnagel to go and find him, get him back. I mean, an all-star that has great ball skills. I mean, this guy can play the football from the linebacker spot. You just saw an example of it. They got to get Brandon Bridge outside.
Terry Williams, nice burst there by Williams, and Frederick Chagnon helps bring him down along with Adam Konar. But there's Dexter McCoyle, the Rookie of the Year in the Canadian Football League back in 2014. 2 years in the NFL, back now with the Stamps.
We've been focused on the Stampeder defense for Coors Light answering the call, and they have been answering it. Just 147 yards through the air, 81 on the ground for BC. And they forced some turnovers as well. However, they need to keep it going in a 4-point game in the 4th quarter. Back to Chris and Glenn.
Yeah, Rod, nervous times for Calgary. Winnipeg still.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Everything's crossed right now. Will we be in Winnipeg next week or Calgary? Still to be determined. Lots of time here, and here's an open target. You knew somebody would be wide open with that much time for Bo Levi Mitchell, and it's Hergy Mayala. 17-yard connection. and just nosing into BC Lion territory.
Again, pulling the linebackers with his look and going back to that outside hook. Didn't mean to rhyme that. That just happened. That was
That's
just
good. Getting into playoff form. Off the edge is Walker. Get it to Bingleton on the hitch. But nothing doing, and they'll drop him for a loss of 5. Preston Butler there.
It's a loss on the play.
Defensively, when you send a blitz like that, as a DB, you're thinking, if they send the blitz, the quarterback's going to try and throw hot. So there goes Kevin Haynes off the edge, another blitzer. So if they're going to throw hot, I'm going to just jump the route. You're afraid to jump the route in case of the double move, but quarterbacks on the blitz look don't have time for double moves, or most of the time don't.
2nd and 14. Rush 3. Ayala's open. Got it. First down and more. Bumped up by Gamboa, but a big play for the Calgary Stampeders.
He's made a bunch in the back half of the season, and his development has been remarkable. In fact, you think about the upside of Herju Mayala with what he's done of late. A couple touchdowns last week, as we mentioned. A big play here to get Calgary in a plus territory here.
Mayala, the leading receiver in the game, 4 for 94. And Mitchell has completed his last 4. That's his longest streak of the night of completed passes.
He's up in the boundary this time.
And they'll just flip it inside to Bingleton. And the end around for Bingleton nets close to 9.
But you're looking at a future, this guy's 23 years old, Mayala, and you're looking at a future 1,000-yard receiver, perennial 1,000-yard receiver. You know, I mean, he's fit in nicely. He's earned the trust from Bo Levi Mitchell. I just, you know, there's tremendous upside. We can't have enough good young Canadian talent. And there's a few guys on these two teams that look at the future and think, yeah, they're going to be very good players.
Arbuckle comes in short yardage. Second, about 1.5 yards off the left side. Flag comes down. And the preliminary indication against BC.
Offside. BC defensive line. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, when we talk to Bo Levi Mitchell, he always brings up Colton Hunchuk and how impressed he is with his development. Herju Mayala talked about him and the future. Shaq Johnson for the BC Lions had a breakout season. I really like Javon Katoy. He's not in the lineup tonight, but there's another guy that could be, I think, a perennial 1,000-yard receiver. There's some great young Canadian talent. We look forward into next year.
And you didn't mention Lamar Durant, who's also not playing
because he's a veteran.
You say he's established already. Great year for Durant, and now Mayala loose, touchdown! The Herju Mayala drive that might get Calgary a Western semifinal home game.
The Lions decided in this drive on those key second downs to go with minimal pass rush and just see if Mitchell can be patient and wait. And 2 corner routes to Mayala were the difference. The big one a couple of plays ago, and that one for the touchdown.
Over 100 into the end zone, and Herju Mayala, the key man throughout that whole drive. Convert good, and the Stamps up by 11 as we hit the 3-minute warning. Maybe they can start breathing easy. Maybe. Mitchell with the connection. And it's 15 straight games for Mitchell with the touchdown pass.
Into the driveway, or a hell might as well top shelf, cause you just got paid.
Champions. 3 weeks tomorrow.
Let's go.
That got your attention.
Let's go. It's time. It's time. This wraps up the regular season.
It's like kind of.
Rutley on the return. Hit as he crossed the 30. So an 11-point Stampeder lead. They've beaten BC 7 of their last 8 meetings, 11 of 13.
No, yeah, you're right, yeah. I was just close a couple times. I think that's
I'm going to tell him right now.
Okay.
When I caught it,
Just trust it, right?
Well, the Lions start at their 32, and here's John White. Puts the head down and has 4 more. Keep tracking him. Looks like he's within 2 of 1,000.
Down 2 possessions.
They might have given him enough for 1,000 on that carry. And there's a drop. Offense won't stay on the field. Shaq Johnson can't make the catch. And it'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, I think you pretty much got to go now. I mean, you're down 2 possessions, 11 points. That one is on Shaq Johnson. He had to turn inside, but he makes that catch in his sleep normally. And
so 3rd and 5. Trying to stay on the field. Bridge looking for Langford. Got him. What a pass. And Langford down to the 30-yard line.
Bridge took a hit too. He's a little slow to get up back there.
I'll tell you what, Brandon Bridge just showed you why he deserves still another look.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a money throw.
I agree. I hope he continues with his football career because he's taking a hit here as he throws, and he threads the needle on a corner route where he drops it into Langford.
First and 10. Quick hitter over the middle. That's on the money again. Langford back-to-back catches. And at the 21-yard line, it's going to be 2nd and a yard.
They can score it here quickly.
Yep.
They don't have to kick it onside.
Here's White. That's 1,000 for John White for the first time in his CFL career.
Well, it was tough slugging tonight, but he got there.
Been waiting 7 years, and tonight might have felt like 7 months.
Yeah, exactly. He just, on this play right here, he saw one of those big evergreens go down. Now he can't lose any yards.
Don't do that. Saw William Powell hit 1,000 earlier, then lose 4. He got there anyway. There's a pass to the end zone. Brian Burnham, touchdown. And the Lions aren't done yet.
Bridge took another hit, getting rid of that one. He paid the price a couple times himself. Pressure coming. Another big hit right in the rib area. That's the second one as he released the ball. They're clean and they're not late. It was Deshaun Downey that put the hit on him that time.
Boy, Brandon Bridge has to be giving CFL personnel something to think about here tonight, though. 11 of 15, 156. And now a touchdown. Gonna go for 2. BC 4 of 7 in 2-point convert attempts this year.
They get the 2, do you kick it deep? If they don't get the 2, the onside kicking. Is it as simple as that?
We talked a lot about 130 being kind of the
cutoff.
The cutoff. Fake to White, sidearm throw incomplete. So they'll need a touchdown.
I got that old country soul, that boondock swag in my stroll, rock it wherever.
Freshman Year, the debut full-length album from the Reclaws featuring the brand new single, Old Country Soul. Listen now on Apple Music.
But a gutsy drive engineered by Brandon Bridge there. Big connection to Ryan Langford and finishes it off with the 11th touchdown catch of the year for Brian Burnham.
Thank you, guys.
And John White's got the news.
I love you, Lulu.
I think he just turned around and said, "Thank you, God." that was tough.
First touchdown pass for Brandon Bridge since July 19th a year ago against the Hamilton Ticats.
Well, if you're Devon Claybrooks here, I think you go onside kick and don't give Bo Levi Mitchell a chance to end the game. I mean, that would be my gut feeling, but we're right on that bubble time-wise, and you also need a major now. You need to get the onside and get the major. Calgary will go with their hands team no matter what. Got Duron Carter out there, so they're going for it.
Up, flags down, ball bouncing around there, and it'll be covered by Mayala, who's been prominent here again tonight. Been their leading receiver.
Offside, BC number 56. That penalty be declined. First down, Calgary.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway. Corey Toomer was ahead of the kick.
It was an easy one.
Prior to that last Calgary touchdown, there were 6 consecutive series that ended with a punt. And the Lions need a quick stop here.
And will have the field to go if they do get it. But we've seen it happen before. They got a minute 41. They need the 2 and out.
Mitchell didn't like the finish last week. Let's see if they can finish this in style. Keeps side handoff and not going very far. Tackle by the safety, Brandon Dozier.
Keeps the clock rolling. They'll blow it in now.
Timeout, BC.
There you go. Devon Claybrooks calls his timeout, so they can't keep it rolling, and it'll come down to second down here.
Dozier 6 tackles in the game for Devon Claybrooks, 7 for TJ Lee, who's had a good night with an interception as well. So what do you dial up here if you're the BC defense?
I send them all. I really do. I'm not going to let Bo sit back there and throw a corner route or a dig route or something to Mayala or Bagleton. I'm going to go after him, and if he hits the hot route, game over. If he doesn't, it's incomplete. You get your 2 and out, and at least you give your offense a crack at it.
Keeping Bomber fans up here tonight. Don't worry, you can move your clock back an hour.
They're going to drop, I think.
See. Out of Mitchell's hands, caught, but short. No, incomplete, the ruling. No catch for Bagleton there.
Well, they kind of split the difference. They sent 5 men. It wasn't full blitz. It was Chris Edwards from the linebacking core on a blitz. He was picked up by Don Jackson, and yeah, that ball just slowing away, and it bounces off the turf. So Lions will get it back. Got one big return at the end of the first half from Rutley.
Langford and Rutley both back. Maber will look to pin. Line drive. Rutley back across the 25.
Get out of bounds.
So 83 seconds left on the clock. Can Brandon Bridge become the most popular guy in Winnipeg tonight?
done it before. We'll lock into where Brian Burnham lines up here. If you're Calgary, you probably want to at least high-low or maybe vice Burnham, although they played pretty well defensively tonight.
Looks like Brian Burnham's going to finish in top spot in the West in receiving, staying ahead of Bingleton tonight. Underneath, good close there by Dexter McCoyle, and the BC receiver shaking up on the play.
They're going to want him to stay in bounds. Give Bridge a chance to maybe call not just this play, but the next one as well.
That's Jamel Lyles who caught the football, but shaking up on the play.
Really good tackle by McCoyle. He closed quickly.
And the McCoyle tackle buckled that ankle. The clock starts, 2nd and 7. Sideline pass, caught. They'll stop the clock. Carter has the BC first down. Fresh set of downs. He's only been in camp since Mike Riley was hurt a few weeks ago, so not like he's had a lot of time, Brandon Bridge, to really take charge of the playbook and get a lot of reps behind Danny O'Brien.
When Calgary has blitzed defensively, they've either got their hands on the ball or it's been incomplete.
Sends that one past Carter, incomplete. Be 2nd and 10. 168 passing yards in this second half for Brandon Bridge. 13 of 19. Devon Claybrooks still looking for that first win against a Western opponent this year. And they'll need some last-minute drama to do it. Has time, but short arms that, and it's 3rd and 10. Carter again the intended target, 3 straight thrown his way.
Visualizing the throwing motion, try and correct that mistake because it comes down to this play.
So it comes down to this. For the BC Lions, they need 10 to stay on the field. Need to get to the 48. The Bridge scrambling. Mike Rose in pursuit. Throwing downfield. And the ball was caught. Did they get a foot in? Shaq Johnson with a miraculous catch.
He caught it at that end. My question was Bridge over the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, that was another issue. Johnson does Brian Burnham-like feet to get a foot down. And how about that stab of the foot to stay in bounds? There's still life in the BC Lions. Now the whistle sounds. I'm sure it was blown back in. That last line of scrimmage was the 38-yard line. Well, I think he was okay. Bridge fires that. Dexter McCoyle has the pick. And Calgary's going to host the Western semifinal. And McCoyle down inside the 10-yard line. You mentioned how big a pickup Dexter McCoyle might be. he just paid huge dividends for the Stampeders.
Yeah, and for me, it's been about his ball skills. We've seen a lot of great linebackers and both guys that have gone to the NFL come back, some that have come from the NFL. And Dexter McCoy is one of those linebackers for sure, but I think what separates McCoy is his ability to play the ball the way he can. I mean, Chris Jones discovered this guy and brought him in to Edmonton. He was an all-star because of his ability to play the football. And he does it again for Calgary in his first action with the Stampeders.
Fourth takeaway for Dave Dickinson's team tonight. They'll end up plus 15 this year. Best in the league in the giveaway takeaway. And the first Stampeders souvenir for Dexter McCoy.
And Winnipeg travels to Calgary.
Matchup set for McMahon Stadium next week. But I'll tell you what, Edmonton made it tough on Saskatchewan today.
Yeah, they did.
BC pushed the Stampeders to the final minute here tonight. Running it down, and they'll do it one more time. Sure, Dave Dickinson's pleased with the win, but beyond that,
yeah, I think he'd be happy with his D-line. I thought they played well. His front seven, you know, a makeshift secondary because of a couple of late scratches, played pretty well. But I think offensively they got to clean some things up, and they'll get Eric Rogers back. You know they'll be ready for that playoff game. It'll be a great one. Semi-final, Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Calgary Stampeders.
A couple Eastern Washington boys having a final conversation. Bo Levi Mitchell and TJ Lee. Devon Claybrooks put a scare into his old team, but the Stampeders will host the Western semifinal with a 21-16 victory over the BC Lions. The Nissan Titan player of the game brought to you by the Nissan Titan, ranked #1 in quality by J.D. Power.
You know, some games we've got to wait till late in the fourth quarter to find out who emerges as the player of the game, and that was the case tonight. We almost gave it to the Calgary defensive front seven, but Hergy Miala, when they really needed it late in the fourth quarter, had a couple of big catches and a touchdown, and he got himself over 100 yards receiving. There's the key touchdown, the go-ahead points for Calgary. They have home field because of the play of Hergy Miala.
Second 100-yard receiving game of the season for the outstanding Calgary Stampeder rookie. So we know where we're going. The semifinals next week, next Sunday. It'll be the Eskimos, the Alouettes. We knew that. We knew it would be the Bombers and Stampeders, but we can now confirm it will be at McMahon Stadium as the Stampeders make sure they've got a home playoff game with the win here at BC Place Stadium tonight. Hard-fought game. Brian Burnham finishes in top spot in the West in receiving, 7 catches for 91 on the night. But the final celebrations go to the Stampeders. That's it, 81 games in the book. And now we head to the playoffs. We'll see you from McMahon Stadium.